Everyone, welcome to Tuesday. And like we do every Tuesday, we always take a look at the performance of the main board for the New Zealand Stock Exchange to see how it's gone for the previous week. Just remember that this is for educational purposes only. If you're looking for personalised financial advice, then you do need to go and have a chat to your own financial advisor. Right, let's take a look. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the main indices up here on the board for the New Zealand Stock Exchange. And hey, great news. We've had 2 positive weeks in a row, which is absolutely fantastic. And this little block on the right here is the start of the week, being the 12th of May, because I am recording this on Monday. And at this stage, it looks like the market is it's certainly opened positive, which is fantastic. I just zoomed in there. Let's just go back out and just take a look. Right, so just taking a look back out here, you can see that this potentially is showing signs of a quite a strong rally, almost like that V-shaped recovery. If I just scroll back here, this is February 2020. So this was when we had the COVID, and look at these very, very sharp falls that happened. So basically the New Zealand stock market went from about 12,073 all the way down to 9,200 in the space of about 4 weeks, which is absolutely phenomenal. However, the market overreacted in that example, and you can see what happened in the weeks preceding that. And we started seeing some very strong weeks and strong growth, which was great. But if I just roll back to where we are now, is this going to be something similar? Only time will tell, but it certainly does give us the impression that that is what could be happening in this environment, that the market has overshot where it perhaps should be, and we're seeing the buyers come back into the market, which is an absolutely great sign, which is what we want. Just looking down the bottom here as well, you can also see the volume. There's reasonable amounts of volume on the last 2 weeks, which is great. Volume is an indicator as to potentially where the market is heading, especially when you're seeing strong volume and the shares, or in this case, the indices is rising. That can be quite a good indicator. I don't like preempting what could happen because it could turn. Anything can happen. Certainly in my game, when I was a financial advisor, you could think that things are on a recovery sign, where in fact they end up turning around, and it's not that at all. But this is certainly pointing out to be quite positive. Let's just put our moving averages on and just take a look and see how they are. So we use the 30 exponential. So as you can see here, last week the market did close above that 30-week moving average, which is great. And this week, being the 12th of May, it has opened above it. So that is a good sign, as long as it stays that way. Let's also look at the 15-week moving average. That too has turned upwards. However, it hasn't yet crossed through the 30-week moving average. And if you're a regular follower of mine, that's something that I certainly want to see. I want to see that 15-week, the faster moving average, trading above the slower moving average, because that usually then does indicate that the market is in an uptrend. And you can see that during this period through here, which was about January last year. You can see that 15-week moving average, the blue line, stayed above the 30-week, the red line, which is good. And as you can see, the market rose as well. So that's why we like to look at that. It did get really close through this period here of sort of July-ish, but it never fell through. So that's why I want to see that 15-week moving average cross through the 30. And if I just go back, and if you look at this period through here, which was January 2022, you can see when the 15-week moving average was trading below the 30-week, it carried on going right the way through. And even though the market sort of turned around, and this is only the power of hindsight, it turned around in October that year, but it never crossed through until around January 2023. And we had a reasonable strength there before we entered basically a bit of a sideways and then a falling pattern. But what I'm getting at really is that if a share or an indices in this example is trading above those moving averages, that's where usually it can create more opportunities for a market to continue rising. I personally never want to buy a share that is trading below those moving averages because they can keep falling for a very, very long time. And I know we saw that back in 2008, which is a long time ago now, the credit crisis, but markets just appeared to be in an absolute free fall and it lasted for a long period of time. I haven't got it up here on the screen, but that's just warning you that pretty much if you're looking at investing, definitely look at doing so when the moving averages, whatever moving averages you choose, some people use a 50 and 100 day. At the end of the day, it's got to work for you. Use the same across whatever share or indices you're measuring. And that will give you an indication as to perhaps potentially the trend that the market is in, because that's what I'm all about, is following trends. So I hope that's helped. We will wait and see. It might take a couple of weeks to see if that moving average does cross through, but that could certainly be a good indicator. Personally, I'm not buying any shares. I am adjusting stop losses, and I did have a share over the weekend that I went and increased the stop loss on, because obviously it's been moving up, which is great. Now, if you want to come back on Thursday, we're actually going to take a look at the power companies and take a look at that utility sector and just see how they have been performing overall. And remember, if there is a share that you would like me to review for you, by all means, let me know. Or even if you've got a question regarding investing or share investing, share trading, again, let me know and I'm happy to address it here and help you out. So until later, take care.